Yeah, it's your boy Ray on the mic. Let's go. There's a point in our lives where we have to take ownership of who we are, what we do, and the outcomes that we see. It's valid. It's valuable, not just valid. It's valuable that the way that we are engaging in our lives and our actions and our words, and all is encompassing of the way that we can be accountable to what we see and what we've experienced in this space. You know, I think about this often in my leadership that I am the one, and this is, I don't know if it's egotistical or not, but I am the one to make sure that this succeeds. This action, this tactic, this project, the people, the team, it's on me to make sure that the work succeeds. I think about that for my family. It's on me that my family has everything that they need to be to feel thriving, to accomplish, feel accomplished. You know, I whatever activity that I'm engaged in, I think about how I can make sure that I'm doing my part in ensuring that they have what they need to be successful. That's an accountability. That's an ownership of the work, of my presence, of the actions that I have. I can't not leave that up to chance for other people to be like, yo, you know, that's on them to figure that out. No. It's on me to figure that out. It's on me to make sure that that is getting done. I cannot put that blame on other people, you know. And sure, there are times where something is out of our control, where something does go haywire and it's like, yay, you know, that was so-and-so's fault to back that up. But I do reflect on what is it that I could have done to make sure that they have what they need, you know, right? So if you look at a project perspective, you know, sometimes we take on a project and somebody does drop the ball on the team, and you're the accountable person and the responsible person to accomplish the work, but so many people are maybe the ones that are executing it, right? It's still on the person who is leading the effort to think about what could they have done to make sure that that person had what they need to be successful. I think about it a lot, and I don't want to necessarily be like, well, shoot, you know, they missed the deadline, that's on them. Nah, man, like, could I have checked in with them more frequently? Did they experience a barrier that hindered them from meeting that deadline? Did they not understand what I was, the vision of the project? And is there a gap, that blind spot that we missed? What could we have done differently? I think about the accountability space and ownership space as well in this whole diversity, equity, inclusion space. So a lot of people are looking into this space as pointing fingers. We see a lot of finger pointing in who should be the ones that is building up and closing the gap of this equity that we see in our society. You know, the racial gap, the equity gap, the income gap, the access gap, all the gaps. There's so many gaps out there. And it is true that there are individuals that we need to look to help bridge that gap. But I have a hand in this too. I have a role into changing that as well. So even though, historically speaking, my identity may seem to be disenfranchised in some way, I still have a hand in closing that gap. As a black man, I can't necessarily wait for our white population to do the work to close that gap. Sure, I can call that out and ask for that to happen, but I also need to be the one to do what I can to help mitigate that or close those gaps too. Because it's my responsibility. I own the work. I own part of the piece to this pie. And not only does it help me in this, but I think about the next generation. I think about my kids. I don't want them to feel like they have to wait for somebody else to step up to take action to close the gap for them. That's on me. I gotta be the one to create those spaces and avenues where they feel confident and comfortable to be themselves and to grow in this space too. And for other disenfranchised individuals, underestimated individuals in our communities as well. So we need to be able to see our position, see the way that we have ownership in this space, and no longer just point the finger outward to say it is on them to figure it out, but take the transition and look within where to say, what can I do to help in this spot too? We all have to do that. It doesn't work if only one group or one person does it and other people do not have the same sentiment as well, because then it creates a burden for those who are wanting to take ownership and who do want to see change, and the unwillingness of other people to step into that space and make it happen. Like, it doesn't work that way. We all have to be willing to make change and to be willing to take ownership of that space. So that's my challenge to you, is my encouragement to you, is to look around you, look to see where you can take action, where you can take ownership, where you can take accountability in being the person, being the leader that your community, that your family, that those who look up to you need you to be. Those who need somebody who can step into the space and be the ones that looks out for them and closes that gap and bridges that gap. It is on us to make that happen. It is on us. It's on all of us. And my role is to make sure that I'm doing what I can and encouraging you to do what you can too. And I hope that the encouragement, and this is probably another call to action too. It's not good to have multiple call to actions, but I'm gonna give it to you. And it's good to call action as well, to make sure that if you are encouraging other people around you to step up, to take action, that you're doing it in love. If you're not doing it in love, you just sound like a banging of clashing cymbals. It's just loud noise. Whatever we do, we have to speak truth in love. And the loving piece is what helps transform our hearts, our actions, and our words. And if we're unable to do that, then then it all is all for loss. So as we are holding ourselves accountable, as we are holding other people accountable, doing it in a way of love just helps it shape and infuse our relationships and connection to one another. And in doing so, we have to see each other in our humanity in order to bridge that gap towards a better community. So, accountability is important. Ownership is important. Whatever that looks like for you, it is on us to make it happen. And as you are creating ownership and creating accountability for yourself and for others, that is done in love, and that you are striving towards a better society where everybody feels included, belongs, and thrives. All right. So make sure you check out. Let me know what you think about this. Where are the ways that you're wanting to take ownership? What makes you afraid to take ownership? That's what I want to know. I'm afraid to take ownership because the accountability is on me to make it happen. And sometimes that accountability is scary. I get it. I want to know what fears you have of taking ownership of some of the things that you have been asked to do that's set within you. Be sure to hit me up at Ray Devontae on all social platforms, and follow the podcast OTM on the mic with Ray White on all social media, on all favorite podcasting platforms. My mouse is tripping. And I want to hear what your thoughts are on this space. Be sure you share your story with others, and I will catch y'all on the next episode. Peace.